What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Hero Strength, where we build bodies for the gods. The hero's here, and basically, I'm just gonna try to make this as quick as possible. Today's leg day. I'm doing this right before we go train. It's just something that that was on my mind. And I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it just because I was watching a video and it just made me, inspired to talk about this. So, I'm gonna talk about weak mentalities. Bodybuilding taught me to be strong mentally. That when you are scared of some weight, you have to be mentally strong that you're gonna handle that weight. That when you don't want to do cardio and push yourself, you gotta you gotta be ready for that. You have to put yourself in a mindset that I'm going to do this. I can do this, no matter how hard this is, and that really does translate into life. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I did have to feel like I had to get mentally prepared for my job because I knew it was going to be a lot more mentally demanding. And I had to tell myself, like, I was so fearful, guys. I really was. And I was like, man, like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, da-da-da-da. Carlos isn't smart. And I had to stop and say, no. Maybe you're not the smartest person, but you are a hard worker. Do your freaking best, bro. Go in there and conquer that stuff, no matter what. That's it. Right? The reason why this is all relevant is because I was a part of this page just this week. I got kicked off of it for having results, and that's where I'm going to go ahead and take this. But I'm not going to talk about this too much. Basically, it was called cosplay, fitness, and nutrition. And it's just like, if you're a nerd and then you like fitness, basically this awesome combination. You put up your photos, you ask for advice, you put up what you're eating, things like that. And it was cool. Like, I really enjoyed it. I loved being a part of that page. I was like posting on there more than anything else. So I posted what you guys see in the thumbnail, and I got a lot of people to really like it, but I had a lot of people comment and say that it all was fake results, that I was photoshopping it, that I only looked like that because I'm genetically gifted, that I was sucking it in and that it's angles and then I'm pushing my stomach out, and it was all this stuff. And I'm like, and I found myself arguing with people because I was confused. Not that, I understand that not everybody looks the same. I understand that, but you would think that everybody would understand that it's hard work. Am I supposed to say something about how successful Elon Musk is? Or is Mark Zuckerberg? Am I supposed to assume that because of whatever the case may be that they're just gifted and that's why they make as much money as they do? No. You look and you say that's some hard freaking work. And I didn't do anything special. I really didn't. But it's so crazy that in those little bit of results, people were trying to make themselves feel better. And that's what I don't like, is that when people go ahead and they put down other people, or they say for bodybuilders or anybody, they're like, oh, it's steroids or it's this, and they demean somebody's hard work. Don't ever let anybody do that. And if I can, basically the whole purpose of this is to have a strong mentality. If you got to diet, freaking diet. If you have to work hard, do an hour cardio, you do that. And you call it a day. That's it. It's hard work in here. That's it. That's one of the main reasons why I started this YouTube also. I understand that everybody's the same, and that's understandable. But one thing we all have is a mind, and we have to choose to be mentally strong to get what the hell we want. I'm going to get ready for this leg workout. Let's just go kill it. Okay, guys, so we're starting off with the leg extensions. This is honestly just king for starting off with a good quad exercise. So what you're trying to do here is just make sure that you're trying to squeeze that whole quad. What I always do is I'm just trying to aim for that sweep, okay? But if you guys looked at what I was doing, I was going up only halfway. That was because I'm just trying to mess with myself. I know that's a technique that I used to do all the time. And honestly, leg extensions for a very long time just haven't felt like amazing to me like they used to. And when I did this, honestly, it felt freaking great. So I'm trying to guide that weight as low as I can. Go ahead and I'm getting a good stretch into my quads. And then the last 10, I'm going up and I'm squeezing as hard as I can. And if you guys kind of see, I'm leaned over slightly forward That's just because I'm trying to incorporate. It actually helps for me personally to get more of a squeeze in my quad, like technically even right next to my hip. Okay, so it's unorthodox how I'm doing this. On the bottom of the movement, my butt is up. And the reason for that is because when you're still holding on to this weight, that pressure is coming up here, okay? So I'm here, and then as I lift it with control, we're not just, that's gonna hurt your knees. We wanna have complete control. We're right here, and then bam, we get a good squeeze. As we're going down, we're gradually lifting our butt. That way the pressure goes all the way here, and we bring it back up and get good squeezes. I don't recommend doing this with heavy weight. When you start to get fatigued, you can go ahead and play around with it when you do those cheats. And that way, it's all right here and all the pressure stays here, okay? So yes, that is basically the technique that I'm using. I used to do this all the time. Tom Platz, the quad father, man. I've seen him do this technique, and I kind of understand why he does it. And a lot of people think it's like super unorthodox and think it's weird or you're gonna hurt your knees. I've never used knee reps. My knees never hurt, and honestly, it just felt amazing. So I always make sure that I'm doing a drop set with leg extensions, and honestly, like I said before, it honestly just felt freaking amazing. Right after this, it was hard to walk, and I just felt like my quad was completely full, and I was just ready to be able to feel everything else that was coming for the rest of the workout.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, and right after that, we wanted to do the leg press, but there's only one leg press at this Planet Fitness. So I'm thinking, okay, I knew I wanted to end the workout with some form of squats. So that was something else I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to go into the machine leg press. So I'm thinking, what's the next worst thing? Lunges. You guys can't really see, but what I do when I do my lunges is, of course, I go deep. I try to, but I let myself kind of move a slight bit forward and let my knees kind of pass my toes. Again, making sure that my heel is completely pressed down. And in doing that, you're forcing more of a stretch into those quads, and you're staying a little bit more away from those hamstrings and the glutes. And honestly, that's just the best way that I can say that I do my lunges when I'm trying to hit more quads. I do lunges for hamstrings and glutes, but I separate my days, and it's just the form and it's the way and the feel that just becomes different. You're still going to get a pump in your glutes and your hamstrings, but primarily what's going on is that when you're coming up, instead of squeezing those glutes and hamstrings, you're trying to squeeze hard on those quads. That's why I kind of take like a moment, and I'm feeling, you guys see right here, I'm feeling for my quads. I'm trying to go down, stretch them, and then I'm trying to come up and get a good squeeze without activating or squeezing my hamstrings or glutes. It's taken me a while because it is about muscle maturity and things, but I always still kept with that technique because I felt like that was just the best way I was going to continue to develop, and that's actually what has happened. So we did about 4 sets of this. This was brutal. This killed me. Actually ended up catching a cramp because I couldn't breathe, but it was awesome. It was really, really good. And see, this was, I considered a first set because I didn't even need weight. It was such a long path that I was dying immediately, but it was awesome. My quad pump was ridiculous, and I definitely am going to be doing them again. Okay, so by this point in the workout, finally the leg press was open. I always leg press, if I'm talking quad, honestly is just the best mind muscle connection for me. I prefer to do these at the beginning of my workout because I feel like I can go heavy. I feel like I have a really good mind muscle connection, and that I feel like I can kill myself very, very easily with these. It's kind of harder for me sometimes to feel that same type of pump at the beginning of my workout for hamstrings and glutes, because sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm focusing so much, I have so much energy, so I'm forcing myself to go heavy, but I'm more glute and hamstring dominant than I am quad. So I just try to wear myself out as much as possible so that when I do go into those squats, I'm already fatigued, so my legs are still, you know, working completely. So I did a little bit of a narrow stance, just at least shoulder width. And here, if you guys look, I'm trying to go as low as I can, you know, comfortably. And I separate my knees as I'm going down so that my legs aren't pressing against my stomach. Even when I was bulking, you know, my stomach was a little bit more distended, so this became a little bit more difficult. So on the way down, you're trying to separate them. Your heel is completely pressed against that footing, okay? You want your full foot on there. A lot of mistakes that people make with legs is that they put their when they're doing it, they're not paying attention to their footing. If you're pushing with your toes, that's where that knee pain is going to end up coming from. Then a big thing is also that control on the way down. I'm not trying to just let it come down and that's it. If you guys look, I'm trying to have as much control as possible because I'm trying to feel that weight go into my quads. Probably, I guess you could say, the middle of my quads, or right next to my hip. And then on the way up, I'm trying to flex my quads. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go all the way up. And again, I have that control that I know I'm not locking my legs. That's something else you guys don't want to do. That's why you see bodybuilders do like halvesies, I guess you could say, or not full reps. When people do this, it's for the pure fact that the leg press, you're at any leg press, you're pretty much more inclined to get injured in your knees than fully locking your legs when you're squatting. So that's why. So if you guys see right here, I couldn't do like halvesies and rep after rep after rep. So what I did was I'm trying to go as low as I can, and then I'm trying to squeeze my quad all the way up, hold it, and then go back down, because I knew like I could do this weight, but I was fatiguing pretty bad. And again, it was because of those lunges. So when it comes down to big movements like this, a lot of people say, oh, you need to do them at the beginning because since they're the big, heavy movements, you want to have all the... Yes and no. If anything, you got to think that like with movements like this, if you know, when you're weak, you got to force yourself to be stronger. You feel me? So in moments like this is why I like to fatigue my quads or fatigue any other body part with certain movements, so that when I go to these heavy movements, they're heavier and they're harder to do than they should be. Because then you're teaching your body to grow in those moments, and then you're actually just teaching your body to be strong with those moments in the moments that they're weak. So this last one, I ended up just... this was just to go as heavy as I could. I did about 10 reps, and then I dropped the weight, and I think about either 10 or I ended up forcing myself to do 20, but this was horrific. My quads were on fire, and actually, this last set, I couldn't feel them. I couldn't really feel the pump. I just knew to go down with good form and squeeze if I could feel it. And it's important that you do get yourself to those points, because it's those moments that are really going to help you to grow. You don't want to just keep going when you feel it. You also want to make sure that you're just getting the most out of each exercise and trying to fatigue yourself as much as possible. Extremely important.
How many is that? 15? 5 more.
I don't know.
1, 2.
Now after that, we did do hip adductions to hit that inner thigh, and then after that, we did front squats. For some reason on my phone, it's not allowing me to put up any more sets that I did with front squats. But here, I'm just thinking my butt is gonna go past my knees. I'm trying to go as low as I can. I'm trying to squeeze my quads, and that's it. This workout was amazing. I'm gonna end up doing it again. If you guys like this workout, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to see more of, less of. And that's pretty much it for now. I will see you guys next week.